The Tuttle Twins and the Golden Rule by Connor Boyack. The Tuttle Twins and the Golden Rule. Ethan and Emily Tuttle weren't just twins, they were good friends. Sitting together on the bus to the first summer camp. They whistled a camp tune the bus driver, Donald, had taught them. "We're here!" Emily shouted excitedly as the camp came into view. As the bus drove into the camp, the children could see all the exciting activities they would be doing. Swimming in the lake, archery, and obstacle course, and more. "Hey, it's Mrs. Miner," Ethan shouted as the bus came to a stop, pointing to her favorite teacher from school. They were happy to see a familiar face. "It's the Tuttle Twins," she said with a smile. "I'm so glad to see the two of you. Mr. Miner and I will be helping Chef Ron this summer as camp counselors. The children unrolled the bags from the bus. And were led by the counselors to 4 cabins. The Eagle and Turtle cabins were for the boys, and the Bear and the Rattlesnake cabins were for the girls. "Looks like you'll be an eagle," Emily remarked to Ethan, seeing his blue handkerchief. "I get to be a rattlesnake," she added, making a hissing sound to tease her brother. "Much of your camp experience this week will be a series of competitions," Mr. Miner told all the children. "Your cabin mates are also your teammates. We hope everyone will try their best." This is the rattlesnake, and this is the eagles.
That's right. The turtle and
that's the turtle, and that's the bears. Are they gonna play together? We're gonna verse each other, and
yes,
then we're gonna verse each other.
Yes, they're gonna verse each other. That 4 team.
Chief Ron will present the winner of each activity with a special ribbon to attach to the team flag, Mrs. Miner said, in recognition of a good performance. And who you pick in this?
Eagle and
all right.
Performance and performance and
teamwork. So you pick the Eagles?
Yeah, come on.
I picked Eagles. The Eagles are going to win, obviously, Ethan said. "We're a fearsome predator." "Yeah, you're going down," added Julian. Another eagle pointed to the other teams. "Better be careful," Emily calmly replied. "You know that Rattlesnakes sometimes bite if they are threatened, she said, smiling
Slyly.
That's right. Watch out, Eagles warned another rattlesnake named Charlotte. The twins each went to their cabins and spent the rest of the afternoon getting to know their new teammates. So, Emily's with all of them. Ethan and Emily liked the kids on their teams and had no trouble making friends with everyone. Summer camp was going to be awesome. One of Emily's new friends, Kate, was a bit worried about Julian. He makes me nervous, a sort of seems like a bully, she said. We need to be careful in case he tries anything. Where's Julian anyway? Is he a bully?
No.
Meanwhile, the Eagles were trying to figure out how they could win the camp competition. If the rest of it are anything like my sister, I think the rattlesnake might be tough to beat, Ethan said. Don't worry about that, Julian quickly replied. I got an idea. Oh, Julian's on their team. They think Julian's a bully, but
Julian is his brother's teammate.
The first competition came the next morning after breakfast, a canoe race at the lake.
Just want to make sure you didn't. All right.
When Mr. Miner shouted, "Go!" all the teams began paddling furiously toward the opposite shore. The rattlesnake got off to an early start, but got tired quickly and slowed down. The Eagles edged past them, and the other teams winning the race. As Chief Ferron attached a ribbon to the Eagles' flag, Ethan helped Emily pull the rattlesnake's canoe onto the sand and discovered that a very large rock had been tied to the back.
That's not fair. Somebody's cheating.
Then down during the Ethan shot a glance at Jude, who was giggling to himself. Shh, he whispered to Ethan.
Oh no, Julian, you can't be doing that. That's a terrible cheating idea. Julian was cheating. He put a rock on the Eagle's canoe rattlesnake canoe to make it heavy to paddle. No wonder they got tired paddling. Come on. The rattlesnakes.
Over the next couple of days, nothing seemed to go right for the rattlesnakes. Bent arrows, wet firewood, muddy ground, and more.
Oh no, I wonder who has been doing all those cheating, dirty tricks.
Maybe Julian.
Maybe. He always sounds...
The eagles smirk and whisper each time they won made Emily suspicious that her team's bad luck was not an accident.
Uh-oh. I hope they find out.
The rattlesnakes were upset feeling like they had been unfairly targeted. During one of their meals, the Greers plotted their revenge to get back at the Eagles for what they had done. We can't let them get away with this, said Kate. We need to. She was interrupted by the Eagles, who began loudly singing their team chant. soaring in the sky above. Our mighty wings will be shot, hunting all the others who are our prey below. Ethan was getting into the team spirit and certainly liked being part of the winning team. Oh, so we're prey now? Emily said in disgust. It's time to teach these guys a lesson.
They're going to do the revenge. Watch out, eagles. The rattlesnakes are awake.
That afternoon, the counselors led the children to the large obstacle course for the next activity. They were also challenged tunnels, climbing walls, rope swings, and more. Emily clapped her hands in
Anticipation.
To win, your entire team must cross the finish line without fault, Miss Minor told. Children dashed onto the course as he shouted, "Go!" After Charlotte hopped off the rope swing, she moved into the landing platform, making Julian fall into the mud. So he had to start over.
Okay.
Emily began to giggle, getting excited that they were in the lead. As she approached the balance beam, she decided to help her team as well. "Look out," she shouted to Ethan, who was working his way on the beam next to her. He turned his head, lost his balance, and fell into the mud pit below. "Oh, no fair!" he shouted. The rattlesnake The rattlesnake's revenge seemed to pay off. They won a ribbon for their team flag. Now we're being the bullies now.
Oh no, now that's worst. What are they doing?
Late that night,
they're not playing clean anymore. They're playing dirty to each other.
They crept into the eagle's cabin and set up all kinds of pranks that Kate had thrown up. The boys were fast asleep and didn't notice a thing. These boys are in for a big surprise, Emily told herself. This will teach them a lesson. This will teach them for messing with the rattlesnakes.
The rattlesnakes are fighting back.
The eagles awoke the next morning to discover they had been pranked. Toilet paper was thrown around and the itchy wood chips were in their blankets. As Julian got
out of bed, he startled the skunk that had been sleeping underneath. Ah, stink! Oh no!
The kid shouted as the scared skunk let out a foul spray, running towards the door. The boys tried to wash up, but discovered someone had put dye in the water here, which turned Emmett's skin blue. Suddenly, a scream came from the bathroom. Ethan ran out, startled by a snake. This means war. Julian's coughing from the stench. "We have to get even," he said, clenching his fist. The eagles missed breakfast and were late for the morning meeting at the center of camp. The other team stood as far away as they could, plugging their noses. Apparently, the skunk smell hadn't washed off Julian and his teammate as much as they
Thought.
Today's activity will be an orienteering race. Most didn't know what orienteering was, so he explained that it involved using a compass to figure out what direction you should travel. Each team will follow a different path lined with team markers, he said. Cookie. At each point, you will need to solve a math problem. Mrs. Miner explained. Once solved it, he will reveal what direction you must travel to find the next marker in a new clue. Keep solving the problem until you reach the end. Chief Ron rang a bell to signal the start of the race. The children huddled around the different team markers and opened the first clue. Ethan loved doing math. He helped his team quickly solve the problem. The Eagles used the compass and proceed in a straight line at 74 degrees west, putting them in first place right at the beginning. Let's go, Julian shouted at his teammate as he ran into the woods. That ribbon is ours. The Eagles soon found other markers and solved the problem just as fast as the first. Ethan was proud that his math skills were being put to use. The clues pointed down at a path that led behind a waterfall. Inside a shallow cave was a small version of the camp totem pole. This must be where all the team's paths will lead, Ethan guessed. Attached was the final clue, and Julian read it to the group. True, though we all walk different paths in life, we still walk together as one. The note reads, solve the following problem to learn which direction you should all follow. The Eagles did the math, and Ethan led the group, with the compass pointing the way. Wait up, guys, Julian shouted from beyond.
Uh-oh, what's Julian doing again?
What were you doing back there, Ethan asked. I'm curious why he had fallen behind. You want to keep winning, right, Julian asked. I did what I had to do, Ethan could hear the other group catching up behind them. The Eagles arrived at the meadow where the counselors were waiting on horses. When the Eagles realized they had won, They began chanting, soaring in the sky above our mighty wings. We shall hunting all the others who are our prey below. Chief Ron added a green ribbon to the already impressive cracks. How did we get so far ahead? He wondered out. Well, the others aren't behind us anymore. I changed the numbers on the final clue, so the others would go in the wrong direction.
Oh no, that's terrible, Julian.
He said to his teammate with the devilish
Devilish grin. That's so devilish.
grin. That's not nice, Emmett. Not very nice. Emmett
Reluctantly
protested. Ethan was helping us win without cheating. I think it's more fun to win when we do it the right way.
That's right. You are more proud if you won fair and square. No cheating.
The other teams should have gotten here by now, Mrs. Miner said, looking at her watch. Ethan saw how nervous she was becoming, which made him feel bad about what his team had done. He was worried about his sister and what might happen if all the other kids were really lost.
Oh no.
Mrs. Miner, Ethan said, I think the other team might need help. The numbers on the last clue were changed. They went in the wrong direction, Mrs. Miner told the other adults, and they all set off on horseback to bring the children back safely.
Oh no.
It took a while, but the counselor found the other teams and helped the group get back to camp. Nobody was hurt, but they were very, very grumpy. Ethan was glad Emily was alright. Chief Ron emerged from his cabin. Gather everyone after the sun set, he said to the other counselors. It's time for a lesson. He was wearing a feathered headdress, traditional clothing, and looked very wise. That must be why he called the chief, Emily said. That night, all of the children took a seat near the fire, not knowing what to expect. The sound of drums filled the air as Mr. and Mrs. Miner, dressed as Native Americans, danced around the fire. These warriors represent the conflicts of people throughout history, the chief announced. We are all part of human family, brothers and sisters, and yet sometimes we live in fear of people who are from different tribes and nations. We fight when we could be friends. The warriors began pretending to fight with one another. Ethan and Emily liked the dancing, but were unsure why the counselors were doing this. Your teams are like tribes, and rather than being friends, you have fought, he said. Why? He asked the group. I didn't like being picked on, Kate responded. We didn't want to lose,
Julian
Julian added. I got jealous when the other teams were winning, Ethan said. Chief Ron nodded slowly. You have acted based on fear, he said. Fear can be a good thing because it drives us to act when real danger is upon us or when we need to defend ourselves. Mrs. Miner, who lifted a hatchet to pretend to attack Mr. Miner, who immediately defended himself with a shield. This made the kids giggle. But fear can also drive us to attack others, as you all have done. It is wrong to use force against another poor person over property, the chief explained. It is okay to defend yourself if attacked, but you must never become an attacker. It is wrong to be the aggressor. This is defense.
When you have fear, then there comes start the aggression.
Yeah.
And then when you...
And this is defense.
Yep. You have...
That's when somebody's trying to fight you.
Yeah, you have to defend yourself.
Yeah. But Chief, the Eagles cheated first. That wasn't fair. So we had to make it even, Emily said. Justice is when balance is restored. When a wrong is made right, but revenge is not justice, Ron explained. Revenge just adds another wrong. As he spoke, the golden ring behind him burst into flames, and the drums grew louder. The two warriors began dancing again, pretending to fight back and forth. An act of revenge invites blowback, another attack from those who were attacked, Chief Ron said. He looked at the other team. At each other team, and this cycle of revenge could continue back and forth forever. You have seen this in yourselves, have you not? The children all nodded. Ethan realized that picking on the other team caused blowback. Emily had thought getting revenge would make the Eagles stop cheating, but it actually made them fight back even harder.
That's right. The cheating become worse and worse.
You must stop the cycle of revenge and walk a better path in life. Yeah, if another team cheating, you should not cheat. You should just let them cheat. They'll get in trouble.
They'll get caught eventually, right?
Yeah, they'll get caught. You don't have to cheat too, then you'll get caught. And that'll be bad. The chief continued. Call the fear in your enemy. This is the only way to begin a new cycle of peace and prosperity.
Prosperity.
The drums and the warriors stopped as Chief Ron interpreted symbols from a parchment. Do not hurt your neighbor, for it is not him that you hurt, but rather yourself instead, he added. Do good to your neighbor, adding to his days of happiness as you add to your own. Does he mean I hit yourself instead of hit the neighbor?
No, it means you have to treat your neighbors nice so they will treat you nice back.
Yes.
It's the golden rule, remember?
Emily leaned over to Ethan to whisper in his ear. That's sort of like what Mom and Dad say. Treat others the way you want to be treated. This can be explained another way, my young friend. It is often known as the Golden Rule. The chief explained, my people believe in this rule, but it is not only ours, it is common wisdom in many cultures and religions.
All right, let me see the golden rule. What did it say?
Do not harm,
do good.
Do not harm, do good. The golden rule. And this is it. Don't do this. No.
That's right. What you do to others.
Do this. This is better.
Because remember, you have to remember what you do to others will bounce back at you.
This is good. This is good. But this is bad.
So when you do bad, of course, they will fight back. But when you do good, of course, they will do good back at you. Come on.
Yeah.
So you got to remember the golden rule.
Mr. and Mrs. Miner jumped forward with their weapons. Do any of you enjoy being attacked? Mr. Miner asked. Wide-eyed and startled, the children all responded together, no. Then you yourself must choose to live by the principle of non-aggression, to never attack another person
or their belongings,
and only use force to defend yourself, Chief Rod said. Only then can you live in a lasting peace with others. The warriors dropped their weapons. Would you prefer to be treated with kindness? Miss Miner asked the children. They all smiled and shouted together, yes. Then you yourself must choose to treat others with kindness and respect, Chief Ron said. Only then can we enjoy prosperity in our lives.
I agree.
Smoke
erupted
as the chief threw fire. When the smoke faded, the warriors had disappeared. Chief Ron concluded, ending the cycle of revenge is the most difficult step. It requires each of you to let go of fear. Forgive the other person and bravely extend an arm of friendship. Oh, we're just hiding. They didn't really disappear. I'm sorry for causing problems, Emily. Ethan said. Me too, she replied. The twins hugged as kids from different teams shook hands and apologized. I challenge each of you to live the golden rule for the remainder of the week, Chief Ron said. The teens could return to their cabin, thinking about all the things they had learned. It rained all that night, but in the morning it was clear enough for a day hike. Each team carried the flag as they climbed up a nearby mountain. On a team, you have a common
identity
and can work together to accomplish more than what you could alone, the chief explained as they began. Our differences are valuable. If everyone was the same, we couldn't help or learn from one another. When they reached the top later that morning, the children ate lunch while enjoying the view. Being different from one another and being on different teams should not divide us, Mrs. Miner said. It should bring us closer together. She and Mr. Miner then gave a special friendship bracelet to each child to remind them of the lesson they learned from the chief. Look, it's golden, Emily pointed out to the others, just like the golden rule.
It's a very important lesson.
A flash of lightning appeared in the distance, followed by a loud clap of thunder. Kaboom! The group began to trek down the mountain, getting soaked in the heavy downpour of the rain. The camp is flooding, Emily shouted as they approached the cabin. A storm had caused the nearby river to begin overflowing, and the water was running into the campground. This week you have fought, Chief Ron said. Now you have an opportunity to collaborate to work together on something important. We must divert the water to protect the camp. Each team took a different task and got to work. The bears and turtles worked together, filling sandbags, shoveling over and over with hard work. The rattlesnakes and eagles formed a human chain to move each sandbag to the water edge and stack them to build a wall. The counselors helped here and there and made sure everybody was safe. They need some extra help, Mrs. Miner said, seeing the children struggle. She began walking toward them to lend a hand. No, Ron replied. What they need is this experience of working together to solve a problem. Let's let them do the work and enjoy the benefit. When the children had finished, they were tired, hungry, and covered in mud, but they had achieved their goal. The group watched as the pools of water came close to the camp, but were stopped by the wall of sandbags. We did it, many of them exclaimed, giving high fives to one another. Wait until our parents hear about this, Ethan remarked to some of his friends from other teams. That was hard work, but I actually had fun doing it, Charlotte replied. Do you see what happened, Chief Ron? Asked the children. They shook their heads confused. Look at yourselves right now. You're not divided by teams, and you're not fighting. This experience brought you together to work on something bigger than yourselves or your individual teams.
They're doing an awesome job.
Everybody gathered together in the dining lodge to dry off and talk about their latest adventure. Mrs. Miner joined them with an armful of ingredients to make s'mores. We're very proud of each of you, she said. And now that you applied the golden rule, how about we golden up some of these marshmallows? She grabbed the
She said
with a wink. As Emily ran to grab a marshmallow, she stopped short, remembering to treat others the way she would want to be treated. Afternoon, she said to Julia, who was right behind her. Ethan, watching from beside the fireplace, gave her a thumbs up. The final days of summer camp were much more enjoyable than how it started. Ethan loved spending time at the archery range, and Emily learned how to make Native American jewelry. Even though the team still competed against one another in some of the activities, they did so fairly. And more importantly, focused on doing their best, having fun, and treating everybody nicely. Chief Ron watched the children as they carried their bags to the boss on the last day of camp. Don't fear others, be friends, he shouted. And don't forget the golden rule, he shouted, waving goodbye. We won't, the Tuttle Twins and their new friend shouted back, holding up their new golden bracelet and a constant reminder to always treat others the way that they want others to treat them. The end.
Amen.